Oh, hi. Hello. We are starting up here. We are doing what we can here. We are doing a new thing. Very new thing. I've never actually done this before, so it's going to be a very interesting stream. And the music just stopped. Music. Go home. There you go. We're doing something new today. We're not. Well, we might eventually end up at Try Hack Me, but that's not necessarily where we're immediately going. We're going to play around with a set of tools today, and we're going to see how we do. Let me see. Do we have any people actually here already? We have one person, and me, and a bot. That's person. Exegol is a Dockerized, Docker-based hacking environment. Now, obviously for a lot of reasons, that is a good thing. Basically, you can set up and tear down your environment when you need to. By containerizing your entire setup and putting everything in like containers. I'm not super sure how these guys have done it. I've like skimmed the documentation. I have a couple talking points, and we'll get to them when we do. But I'm just really curious how far we're going to get in just setting this up, how accessible most things are going to be. I know there's a couple things that outright will not work, and I'll tell you them when we get to them. That is not necessarily their fault, and it's not easy or trivial to fix either, because it has to do with the way that they have done GUI applications within the environment, which is not an easy thing to do. From a Docker's perspective, the way Docker works. And yeah, we're gonna run into that. We're gonna say like to what degree this can replace a VM, to what degree this can replace like a Windows-based hacking situation. Obviously, a Windows hacking situation is generally not super common, depending on what you're doing. Sometimes for DFIR, it's pretty common. You can harden, and you can certainly like teach Windows new tricks. A lot of the tools really aren't meant for it though. With WSL2, you can get pretty far, but it's not always ideal. So I'm very curious if this middle of the road solution will lent to be like an accessible-ish system. I'm going to share my entire screen for this stream. Very dangerous, I'm aware. Let me just make sure that my do not disturb and things are on so we don't get work notifications blasting the stream and things like that. But apart from that, that's what we're doing. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's going to be a lot of like window flipping. I'm going to have to check documentation. I'm going to have to open the command line windows. We're going to have to do all sorts of different things. And it is just not feasible to do that constantly switching back and forth with Docker. Not great. So I'm going for with OBS rather. Sorry, Docker's on the brain. So we're just going to see how we do. And yeah, that's why we're going to use the entire screen this time. I'm not sure how long this stream is going to be. Like we have had a couple really short ones. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a thing. This one, depending on how far we get, maybe longer or shorter. I have a hard cut off time rather at 23:30 Dutch time, because then there will be pizza. Yeah. All right. So let's see what we can figure out about this whole Exegol situation. It's the jokes about the dark side for some people who may not be as tragic of a nerd as I am. Exegol is the secret homeworld of the Sith in the Star Wars universe, hence dark side. And I'm also blind, hence more dark side. Anyway, we need a display capture. Let's see, where is the thing gone? Huh? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna just nix this source for it now. You know, how's you people's weeks? Anything fun or not so fun happening? You know, sound off. I know there's like one person watching, but hey, if there's people watching this afterwards, like people watching the archives, people, hey, send me drop me a line. I'm on Mastodon, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on all the things. I'm on Twitter, but I never look at Twitter. I refuse to call it X. It's a dumb name from a dumb person. Sorry if that gets me into hot water with Leon Scum, then too bad. But sorry, don't like the guy. This is almost like a pressure cooker at this point. Can I say that without getting horribly banned? Well, we'll have to see. Add display capture. What do we call this? All the things. Okay, mirror effect from OBS in 3, 2, 1, look away. Let me sort it so we don't have everything covered up by this display like it's currently doing. I'm fixing it. Give me a minute here. Yeehaw. There you go. And here's the window that actually matters right now. I don't think anything particularly compromising is on the screen, looks like. Let me do a super quick test. Should have probably done that beforehand. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Apparently there's ads by Ethical Ads on this page. I hadn't seen them yet, but that's what OCR tells me. Yeah, exactly. If there's porn, like if there's like horrible porn happening on the screen right now, someone will let me know in the comments. Although then again, I do seem to be drawing in more and more blind people, so actually they may not see it either. You know, if there's super fancy spicy porn prawn. I don't think I'm allowed to say porn on Twitch anymore. Prawn happening, let me know and I will happily audio describe it or disclose it. We'll see. Exegol. We are on the documentation page. There's going to be a lot of command typing, and I don't know how long these things will take. We are downloading Docker images. That is usually not the super fastest thing in the shed, but we'll see. We'll see how we do. And there is going to be like a build from source version, and there's a pips version. we're not doing the build from source version because I have a life and I have other things to do later than like the stream, and it'll take forever if we're gonna build it from source, I think. So we're gonna just go with the Pipx version. Pipx, really the only main difference that I see is that you don't get auto updates if you do that. And I am content with that, given this is just a test run. If I set this up for like more, you know, adult level use where I actually start depending on it, I will happily build it from source. But for this, for just a stream, we will just do the PIPX version. Pen, pineapple, apple, pen. Sorry, let myself go there for a second. Yeah. Also, hello. Sorry about this. Hello, John 2.0, 2.0. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Was gonna say sir, but I'm not actually sure if that's accurate. What are your pronouns, person? I am about to do the thing here. This is the install Exegol page on the Exegol documentation. It can be found at exegol.readthedocs.io/n/latest. Getting started, install. So we're starting with that. Let me bring up a command line window because we'll definitely need one of those. There we go. Let me just read this out loud as we go through it. Let's see what it does. Computer is not currently speaking. I will speak for the computer. If it turns out we need to have the computer speak, which will probably be when I actually start running commands, I'll route the speech over and I'll send that through, at least to give you an idea of what you should be hearing in case you're doing this along with me. Okay, getting started. So neatly install Exegol. Very cool. All right, there's requirements and on all those things, installation instructions. Okay, is this all on one page? Nah. All right, you're a male. Very much. I can call you sir without regrets. Good job, sir. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, we have an FAQ, the Exegol project, blah, 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 blah. Too many things on a page. Here we go. Install. Installing Exegol starts with installing the entry point to the whole project, the Python wrapper. Once the wrapper is installed, everything else can be managed from it. Hint, it is strongly advised to install Exegol on a Linux host, especially when planning on using Exegol for internal penetration tests. This is because Docker Desktop on Windows and macOS lacks a few features, mainly due to how these operating systems run Docker containers within an internal VM that doesn't share the host's network interfaces and USB accessories. Once the wrapper is installed, the second step is setting up Exegol for a device on a device. What? Hang on. Once the wrapper is installed, the second step in setting up Exegol on a device is to install at least one Exegol image, either with Exegol start, documentation here, or with Exegol install, documentation here. Both actions will guide the user in installing an image if needed. Okay, so some things we can say here already. It says you can recommend to use this on the Linux host for all sorts of reasons. That may not be ideal if you're a blind person, and that is really just because Linux accessibility on Linux is just not that good. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. There are absolutely people working hard on that, and there's absolutely improvements being made, but as of currently, I could not in good conscience recommend you run it as a daily driver. Does that mean you can't follow their instructions? You could. What you'd basically have to do is essentially either sacrifice a machine to the cause and put Linux on there and then put the stuff on there and just maybe approach it from a different machine through SSH. That is an option. Or you could probably Docker. You could probably like set up a Linux virtual machine and then just put the Docker situation in there. I honestly do not know how that would work network-wise, because at that point you have a network stack within a network stack, basically. I think I'm not super like clear on how exactly that would work on Linux, but there's all sorts of cool things you can do in that space. The reason I'm not doing that here is because I want to see if this is a good alternative for Linux. Linux on a VM can be a bit of an annoying pain in the ass to set up, if you can't see, mainly because, you know, people keep breaking it. One of my very first videos on the YouTube channel that you may be watching this on is a guide to install Kali Linux. It's no longer up to date, so don't really bother looking at it, but that was one of the very first videos I did on here, and it's already completely out of date. And it was great for a while. It was great until like 2024 point, I want to say 1 or 2. And after that, for some reason, I haven't figured out why. It's either Wayland or Pipewire or some other thing. Orca stutters like a motherfucker when you try to use it for anything but actually, like, you know, sitting there and waiting. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I've reported a bug about it on the Kali bug tracker. I honestly didn't see any activities for weeks. And I've honestly lost track of what you're doing with it right now, so I'd have to try this again and see if it works again. But yeah, it's stuff like that that just cannot, in good conscience, let me advise people to just do this. Yeah, the beep. The beep is the thing. I like doing the beep. The beep is very cool. It's a button on my console. It's right next to the button. But what is amusing here is that, you know, Kali apparently keeps breaking it. You could use something like Ubuntu or Debian and then just put the Docker on there. I kind of wonder to what degree that defeats the purpose. Like if you're just trying to get something quickly up and running, obviously you could do it if you want that anonymity. I think at that point there might be better and more like easy to set up ways like Whonix, which I also want to look at some point on the stream. But we'll have to see how it all goes. It's a minefield, and it's really easy to blow yourself up when you're doing Linux accessibility, and it's not great. So I'm against recommendations and against regulations. Going to stick with Windows for this particular stream. We're going to see how we do. And as network stuff happens, we'll have to see what falls over and what doesn't. This is really just like, can I use this for something like TryHackMe? Can I use this for something like OffSec? Hint, no you can't, because they only allow one thing at a time on their network, which is extremely annoying and limiting, and I hope they fix that at some point, but it hasn't yet. All right, for now, let's see if we can figure out what to do first. Requirements. The following elements are required before Exegol can be installed, whatever the host operating system is. Git, I have Git. Python 3, got that too. Docker, got that too. At least 100 gigabytes of free storage. What the? That's a lot of storage. All right. Recommended a minimum of 20 gigs could be enough, but only for the light image. Okay, 100 gigabytes. Let's go. Additionally, the dependency may require depending on the host OS. Let's set that to Windows. There's a little tab control here. That's like letting me pick what OS I'm doing this on. And for Windows, it says to support graphical applications, display sharing functionality, e.g. Bloodhound, Wireshark, Burp, etc. Additional dependencies and configurations are required. Windows 10 up to date or Windows 11 is required. Docker Desktop installed on the Windows host. Docker Desktop must be configured to run on WSL2 engine. There's a how-to do that. WSL-G must be installed to support graphical application. At least one WSL distribution must be installed as well. For example, Debian with Docker integration enabled. See screenshot below. Okay, well, there's a screenshot that just says Windows Docker Desktop WSL integration configuration as the alt text. That does not tell us much. In a Windows environment, the Exegol wrapper can be installed either in a WSL shell or directly in your Windows environment with PowerShell. Warning: please note that it is not advisable to use Exegol from both environments at the same time, as this could lead to conflicts and Exegol does not officially support this configuration. Warning: you may want to disable Windows Defender during the installation, as Exegol will download pre-built remote shells or temporarily exclude or the source file directory. You should also add the folder C users username dot exegol / exegol dash resources to the exclusions list. Okay, so a couple of things right here. For one, this is a bit gnarly because what it's trying to do here is let you use Linux applications on a Windows thing. And to do that, you can absolutely do that. There is a way to have Orca run on that subsystem and then just sort of make it do what it needs to do. I don't know if that will work in this configuration. I could barely get it to work last time I tried this in a regular WSL2 shell. So what I'm going to probably do is just download a fresh Debian image for WSL2. And we're just going to take it from the top and essentially just do these one by one, because I don't know for sure if this is going to work at all. And all my other images are compromised in various interesting ways, so I don't want to make it even less likely to actually work. Let me... Oh, that's the wrong window. I want this one. Let me start by just installing Debian then. WSL -- install Debian. And if you're curious, that sort of kind of sounds like this. Today, please. There it goes. Whoa. Slow down, brother. Slow down, brother. Let's turn the speech down a little bit, speed-wise as well. Enter new Unix username. Okay. Let's just... I was going to do Exegol, but my luck, there's actually going to be a user created with that name, so let's not do that. I'm going to go with Python. I'm going to go with the WSL shell. I'm going to see in Docker if I can figure out how to turn that Docker integration on real quick. So we're Xerxes at Jasper. Very cool. What Python version do we have currently? Let's see.
Bash Python command not found.
None at all. Okay, so let's get that first.
Get. Sudo password for Xerxes. 0% work. Get :11. Install. Git. Reading package lists done. Building depend. Get :1 HTTP. Extracting
so I'm getting
from
Git and I'm getting Python.
Select.
I'm holding the control key down so it doesn't keep yammering at us about output that we know
done. Running
works. Okay. What's our Python version now?
Python 3.11.
3.11. I can live with that. Okay, so couple of things that we need to do. Let's exit out of here for now.
Log out the operation.
Can I see what version this is at?
Double Windows subsystem Debian Docker Docker Desk Kali Linux Windows subsystem for Linux distributions. C users Flory. C users Flory
-V for this.
Namespace version. Stark.
Yeah.
Debian stop 2.
Okay, so it's version 2. That's a good start. We need to get a start, but we probably should get the WSL thing working. So let's do that next.
Install it.
WSLG is this a subsystem of a subsystem that lets you do GUI apps. Normally, I would honestly say don't even bother. And here's why. A lot of the GUI apps on Linux are not going to be as accessible or as good as their Windows counterparts. Particularly things like burps. Burp, I would honestly not even recommend trying at that point. Bloodhound, I honestly don't know. I thought that was a web app. So Bloodhound, if it is a web app, if I'm right, then you could probably get just a browser on the Windows side to log into that. I'm not super sure if that would work, but it should. If there's other things you can do, you can probably try with Orca. If Orca just says no and it just doesn't work, you can always just get the version of on the Windows side and try it that way. That may not be accessible either, but you have a few more tools on your belt to deal with inaccessible applications on that operating system. You have OCR, you have object navigation, all that stuff. I know Orca has flat review, but I think it's not quite as robust as the NVDA or JAWS one. Um, the only time where you're gonna get in trouble doing that is again the OffSec labs, because the OffSec labs limit you to one connection per user in their VPN situation, and if you have more than one, the one will just knock off the other, and it's a bad time. So then you have to do some kind of weird NAT situation where both your Windows and your Linux are using the same external IP. You have to NAT it basically. And then you can trick OffSec into believing that you're both doing the same thing. It's messy, but it's doable. I've tried it a few times. Ideally, they just let you have 2 or even more devices. I get why they don't. I guess that's just a lot of load for their systems, but yeah. Yet another big company that should probably know better, but is making it more difficult for people who have to do it a slightly different way than other people. But hey, how is that new, and why am I still talking about that? Anyway, let's go through these requirements, see if we have them all, because we don't have all of them. Requirements. Let's see. Let's search for WSLG. There it is. So, Docker Desktop installed. We have that. Docker Desktop must be configured to run on WSL engine. There's a how-to link for that. Let me open that up, see what that's all about.
Speech mode bullet. Docker Desktop must. Bullet. Docker Desktop must how-to. An alert: we use optional cookies to improve your experience. Clickable. Skip to main.
Welcome in Europe, where everything has a cookie banner.
Copyright Microsoft. Manage cookies. Mainland.
All right. Okay. How to install Linux on Windows with WSL.
Speech mode off.
Prerequisite: install WSL command. Change the default Linux. Set up your Linux user information. Where is the Docker stuff? Upgrade version from 1 to 2. We don't need that. Ways to run multiple Linux things. Want to try the latest WSL preview. Additional resources. So there's not really anything about this in the headings. Let's just look for the word Docker, see if you can find it that way. Nope. So the how-to that they gave us is pointless. That is super helpful. All right. So Docker Desktop must be configured to run on WSL2 engine. I'm pretty sure I know where that is, so let's just have a look at the Docker interface right here.
Search for image. Search C Learning Center. Troubleshoot. Settings. Clickable settings. Give feedback.
Pretty sure it's in here somewhere.
CTRL search for images. C Learning Center. Set open sign in. Settings. Give feed. Menu. General. Resources. Docker
resources.
Engine. Docker Engine.
Builders.
Kubernetes. Software extensions. Features and development notification. Features and development. No out of menu. Not checked. Heading level 3 general. Start Docker Desktop when you sign into your computer.
Yeah, I don't want that. That's annoying.
Open Docker dashboard when Docker Desktop. Choose the grouping. Not light. Not dark. Use system settings. Out of grouping. Out of grouping, choose container terminal.
Container terminal.
Integrated.
Integrated.
Not checked. System default.
System default.
Out of grouping determines which terminal is launched when opening the terminal. Not checked. Expose daemon on TCP //localhost:2375 with.
I forget if you need to have that
daemon
on.
TCP without TLS helps legacy clients connect to the daemon. It also yourself unavailable.
Okay, that's just for legacy stuff. We
Use
shouldn't need
WSL
that then. Use the WSL.
Unavailable.
Okay, that's on. Very good. Use the WSL based engine. Windows Home can only run the WSL backend. Okay, well, that provides better performance than the Hyper-V backend. Okay, we have that.
Add the star.docker.internal names to the host/hosts file. Requires password. Lets you resolve star.docker.internal DNS names from both the host and your containers. Learn more.
I guess that might not be a terrible idea to have.
Add let's not checked. Use container for pulling
Use
and storing
container
images.
for pulling and storing images.
Give feedback.
Whatever.
Use only images. Send usage statistics. Send there. Send.
We're not sending statistics.
Not
Screw
checked.
off with your stupid telemetry.
Send show client hints.
Show CLI hints.
Get
I suppose.
SBOM indexing.
SBOM
Enable
indexing. Enablement.
Enable background.
Hey, I see Null. How you been there, buddy?
Automatic cancel. Apply engine running resource saver mode. Click a resource engine. Apply and secure desktop. Settings. Engine run. Apply and engine running in resource saver mode.
In resource saver mode.
Apply.
Why are you running in resource saver mode?
And resource save. Clickable resume. Resource saver mode.
Resource saver mode.
Clickable resume. Clickable quit Docker desktop. Clickable RAM 0.0.
How does that
Clickable.
do? Stop that.
Engine running. Engine
we
running.
go.
Engine clickable quit Docker clickable pause. Click
Okay, well, nothing is happening with the engine right now. Is there anything we need to do with that? Okay, there's apparently an update.
Toggle button not pressed open notifications. Toggle button not pressed open.
Notifications, very cool.
Banner.
Um,
Learning Center. Troubleshoot settings.
Okay, so that one seems good. We have that
Exegol,
one
Exegol
figured
document,
out.
Install Exegol.
What's the next one?
WSL.
WSL2 must be installed to support graphic. Oh, WSLG.
Bullet.
That's the next thing we need to do. So let's go do that now.
GitHub Microsoft/WSLG enabling the Windows subsystem for Linux main.
I think that's literally just an executable you run. Let's see. Welcome to WSLG. Short for Windows Subsystem Linux GUI, and the purpose of the project is to enable support for running Linux GUI applications. Blah, 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 blah. X11 and Wayland on Windows in a fully integrated desktop experience. WSLG provides an integrated blah, 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 blah. How do we get it? Installing. Prerequisites. We have prerequisites for the prerequisites. It's prerequisites all the way down. Okay. Is supported on both Windows 11 and Windows 10. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we have that. WSLG is available both as part of the Windows 11 WSL inbox support as well as through the Windows subsystem for Linux from the Microsoft Store. It is highly recommended to use the Microsoft Store version of WSL, which supports both Windows 10 and Windows 11. Blah, 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 blah. Make sure to update your graphics drivers. I've done that recently, so we should be fine. Installing instructions. Thank you. Fresh install. No prior WSL installation. Oh, okay.
Speed from a command prompt with reboot if prompted. After reboot the these will be your after from a command prompt with administrator privileges. Run the command WSL. Install the Ubuntu N. Reboot if prompted. After reboot the installation will continue. You will be asked to enter a username and password.
Yeah, we did that bit.
These will be your Linux credentials. They can be anything you want and don't have to match your Windows credentials. Voilet, WSL, and WSLG are installed and ready to be used.
All right, so we're already good
level
here.
2 install instructions. Existing WSL install. Permalink, and if you have an existing WSL, which includes WSLG, run the command WSL. Update from an elevated command prompt. Please note that WSLG is only compatible with WSL2 and will not work for WSL.
Okay, I'm going to do that just in case. Let me make a new thing. Windows Terminal Admin. The hell?
Installed app power event system device network disk manage computer man terminal alt terminal admin secure desktop Windows.
Let us do what was it, WSL -- update, see if there's a new version. I don't think there will be, but let's check.
Checking for updates. The most recent version of Windows subsystem for Linux is already installed.
Okay, we're good with WSLG as well.
Speech mode off.
All right, we're good here. Can I go back? Yeah. Okay. What's the next thing? At least one WSL distribution must be installed as well. Okay. With Docker integration enabled. See screenshot below. What is that? Let's have a look at that at OCR. Resources WSL.
Resources I WSL 2 with a digital diam. Update with a digital diam. Update. Left click out of list graphic Windows Docker Desktop Linux to support graphical application additional dependencies of Windows Docker Desktop WSL integration caption Windows Docker Desktop WSL integration configuration. Out of caption in Windows environment, the Exegol wrapper can be installed.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, so we're going to just assume that works, and if it doesn't, well, we'll find out soon anyway.
Your Windows environment.
All right, so this seems to have all the things done. If it doesn't work, we'll fix it when it breaks. All right, installation. Here we go. The installation of Exegol on Linux, macOS, and Windows are very similar. It can either be installed from PIP, easiest, most user-friendly, but with a few features you're missing, or from sources, easy as well, fully featured. Okay. Installation of Exegol. Okay. You've already said that we're going to install this thing like 4 times now. The pre-compiled Exegol's wrapper can be installed from the PyPy repository. While this is the easiest and most user-friendly technique, it is advised to install from sources, as it allows a switch from release to dev branches easily, and it supports the auto-update feature. Yeah, I don't really care about that right now. Using PIPX allows you to install Exegol in an isolated virtual environment dedicated to it. First, PIPX must be installed on your host system. Yeah, we might not have it. sudo apt update apt install pipx. Let's see if we have it already, and if not, we'll just go get it real quick. Debian sudo apt get install pipx. Here's my password. Do you want to install? Yep. All right, that's installing, and it's almost done. I am mercifully not setting the speech through right now because it's a lot of output going at us. A lot of Python stuff.
Speed processing trigger setting up pips 1.1 setting up Python 3tk :am60 setting up BLT 2.5.
Yeah, we got a bunch of different dependencies because that is how software development works these days. Okay, we got that. Okay, well, what's next? Exegol's wrapper can be installed with pipx from PyPy. You can now install Exegol package from PYPI. PIPX install Exegol. So we do PIPX install EXEGOL. Speech on, so we can see what it does. Here we go.
Creating shared libraries. Upgrade. Installing Exegol. Installed package Exegol 4.3.9. Installed using Python 3.11.2.
That was quick. All right, so it's done. Adding Exegol to the path. We'll go to, okay, installing with pipx. Preferred, installing from sources. They don't really know what they want, do they? Like, on the one hand, they say you should probably use the full version, and here they say installing with pipx is preferred. So we've already gotten a sort of a conflicting information here from the documentation. In order to use pipx applications, the PIPX environment must be set in your path. Okay. Pipx ensure path. Okay, let's try that.
Speech mode.
PIPX ensure path.
Success. Added /home/xercx/.local/min to the path environment variable.
Consider excellent.
Install and speech mode off.
Don't forget don't without the apostrophe. I hate that. Don't forget to open a new terminal to reload your path before continuing. Run Exegol with an appropriate privileges. Okay. macOS window, already on Windows. Oh, that's cool. If you click Windows on one of these tab controls, it switches them for all of them. That is a nice touch. Let me close and reopen this shell because otherwise it might not work. There. Exegol should not be used as admin on Windows and not as root in a WSL instance. Docker Desktop doesn't require administrator privileges. Okay. Installation of the first Exegol image. Once the Exegol wrapper is installed, you can download your first Docker image with the following command. Exegol install. The thing is, now we're going to see if Docker actually works. Exegol install. Let's see what it says.
Star Exegol is currently in version v4.3.9. Star Exegol Discord serve.https://discord.gg/cx57d6p. Star Exegol documentation. https://exegol.tfd.io/ unable to connect to Docker. Is Docker installed on your machine? Exiting. Check documentation for help. https://exegol.react.docs.io/n/latest/getting started/fact.html number unable to connect to Docker. Xercx Jasper.
Looks like it doesn't know where Docker is. Fair enough. We need to figure out how to get Docker to work within WSL, because right now apparently it isn't letting us do that. So let's have a look in the settings here again. Docker engine. It might be in here.
Kubernetes software update extensions features and notification out of menu main heading level 6 feet. Configure the Docker daemon by typing @son docker daemon configuration file. This can prevent Docker from starting. Use builder GC default enable experimental false out of cancel apply and engine running in resource say clickable resume resource engine cancel. Okay,
this is not it. I'm going to Google how to
install Exegol
do this real quick.
Google documents.
How to enable WSL2 Docker integration in a distro.
How to enable.
I think there's like a command you run or something. Okay, what does it say? Enable Docker support in WSL2 distributions. All right. Ensure the distribution runs in WSL2 mode. WSL can't. Yeah. I know. When Docker Desktop starts, go to Settings, Resources, WSL Integration. Okay. So we're in the wrong tab. Let's see. Resources. Yeah, that's right here. And then there is a thing that says Advanced. You are using the WSL backend, so resources limits are managed by Windows. You can configure limits on the memory, CPU, and swap size allocated to WSL in a WSL config file. That's fine. Disk image location, C users, my name, app data, local, Docker, WSL, don't really care. Resource saver, I'm going to turn that off because it's, well, reduces CPU and manual utilization when no containers are running. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Happen automatically when containers are started. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. Use the slider to set the duration. We don't care.
Slider 3 cancel. Apply engine running and resource set clickable, red clickable, quit the clickable. How to enable the 3.2 when Docker desktop starts. Go to settings, greater resources, greater WSL integration.
Okay, so there should be settings. A WSL integration.
No previous heading at level main advanced heading level resources heading level 6 advanced. You are using the head menu features and development notifications out of menu. Select. You are using the WSL. You can configure limits on the disk image location. Clickable. Unavailable. C. Users floor app data local Docker. Settings.
Yeah, there's nothing like that in here. I guess this is old. Let's
clickable
see.
Docker desktop. WSL. Docker. HTTPS.
Oh, that's because this is some. No, this is the Docker docs.
WSL, Docker main Windows distributions run and leverage addition, Docker consumption needs faster. Additionally, with significant heading before you turn on the Docker desktop, WSL, to feature ensure you have cookie privacy. Mainland Windows sub can turn block to a previous version.
So yeah, this is why you don't generally tend to mess with focus when someone is reading something. I just got yanked to the absolute bottom of the page just so I can be told about yet another cookie banner that I don't care about. So that is a great accessibility thing right here. Don't do that if you can help it. If you need to, if it makes sense for the flow that you're in, like if you're, say, submitting a form and you need to know if the form was successful, you can do that, but not for something stupid like this.
Windows distro and Docker needs faster. Additionally, with heading with not working as bullet at a minimum. WSL.
At a minimum, WSL version 1.1.3.0, but ideally the latest version of WSL to avoid Docker desktop.
Not working as expected. Bullet method Docker desktop for Windows. System requirements. Bullet
installed WSL feature on Windows.
Document out of list block for a better experience on WSL. Consider enabling the WSL auto memory reclaim setting available since WSL 1.3.10 experimental. This feature enhances the Windows machine, especially in memory, releasing it back out of block quote heading level 2. Turn on
Docker desktop WSL. I've done that. Important to avoid any political potential conflicts with using WSL2 on Docker desktop. You must uninstall any previous versions of Docker Engine and CLI installed directly through Linux distributions before installing Docker desktop. Okay, well this is a new desktop thing, so that works. Download and install the latest version of Docker. We did that. Follow the usual installation instructions. Yep. Depending on which version of Windows you're using, Docker Desktop may prompt you to turn on WSL during installation. Well, that's already on. Start Docker Desktop from the Windows Start menu. Did that. Navigate to Settings. From the General tab, select Use WSL-based engine. That's already on. If you have installed Docker Desktop on a system that supports WSL, this option is turned on by default. Yep, that's what we found. Select Apply and Restart. Now Docker commands work from Windows using the new engine. Okay, so what? By default, Docker Desktop stores the data for the C user, blah, blah, blah. If you want to change the location, for example, oh, that's why it sent us there. Read more about this and okay. Enabling Docker support in WSL distributions.
WSL to add support for Linux, except they all run on top of a single shared Docker and developer Docker list with 3 items. 1. Ensure the distribution runs in WSL. To check it, copy. To upgrade to Linux to $WSL.xlv.
Yeah, we did that. We checked and it's actually running at 2, so we should be fine there.
Set v copy $2. When Docker desktop starts, go to settings, greater resources, greater WSL integration. The Docker WSL integration is enabled on the default WSL distribution, which is Ubuntu. To change your default WSL distribution, run copy $WSL, set default less distribution name greater.
Okay, so we're just gonna do it the other way around then. If Docker doesn't want to come to us, we'll come to Docker. We're gonna exit. We're gonna change this to be Debian or Debian. Debian. There.
The operation completed.
Now I'm gonna go back to Docker and restart Docker. Let's see how that does. Is there like a quit? See,
Docker 4.37.1.
We might as well get the update. If we need to restart everything, may as well just get it.
Toggle CPU 0 clickable not signed in. Docker engine builders Cooper. Software. Extension. Features. Notification. Main landmark. Download update. Settings. Give feedback. Download.
Yeah, go get the
Downloading
update.
update.
Why not?
Speech
Let's get
mode
the
off.
latest and greatest. Maybe that'll make this work any better. Dangerous sounds coming from our computer right now. Bunch of beeps. Time is... I keep getting the hiccups. I'm sorry, guys. Boom. Let's update. Let's do it. Oop. Now what? Learning center troubleshoot. We're not signing in just yet. Give feedback. Any restart? Resources. Oh, here it is. WSL integration. Found it. Okay. I'm not entirely sure why that wasn't there
Speech mode. Main landmark.
before, but
Resources.
we
Heading.
found
Heading
it.
level 6. Configure with
Configure which WSL
WSL.
distros you want to access Docker from.
Enable integration.
Enable
with my
integration
default
with my default WSL
Enable
distro.
integration with additional
Okay.
disk. Not chat. Debian. Not
Debian,
Not Ubuntu. Not
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu. Kali Linux. Not
Kali, all the
Alpha.
things.
Cancel. Main landmark. Refresh. Apply and restart.
Apply and restart. Here goes.
Settings. Give feedback.
Whee!
Settings. Give feedback. Search for images. CT
Give
learning set.
feedback,
Docker
are we?
desktop 4.3 toggle
We don't
toggle
wanna
button.
start
Clickable CPU
with that
5
right now.
clickable not signed in. CP
Okay,
RAM
it says that
2.20 GB.
it's actually some
Clickable.
stuff is actually
Clickable
running
quit
right
Docker
now.
desk.
So
Clickable
that's
pause. Clickable engine
good.
running. Engine running.
Engine is
Unavailable
running.
apply
We
and
should have
speech
access
mode
now.
off.
So if we go back here and open, what is it? Debian. And what was that command? Exegol install. Let's see what it does now.
Star Exegol is currently in version
Hey, look,
v4.3.
more stuff's happening now.
Star Exegol documentation. Do you want to download
Do you want to download Exegol resources? I mean, that's what I asked, wasn't it? It's about 1 GB. Sure, go for it.
If you are using an antivirus on your host, you should exclude the folder /home/xerciax/.exegol/exegol resources before starting the download. Are you ready to start the download?
That is a good point. Can we turn Windows security off for a bit? Is there like an easy way to toggle that off? Let's find out.
Copilot.
Is it in here?
File. Show hidden OneDrive. Private network. Volume. Clock 9. Show desk. Show hidden OneDrive. First.
Can
show.
I turn it
Docker.
off?
Process. Docker desk. New quick. NVIDI. Firebot 5. Steel Series. Tiny spec. Phone link. Ableton. Epic Games. Tangerine. 12 of 20. NVIDI. No virtual. Fluent. Assistant. Spotify. Go. Excel. Microsoft Teams 17. XDM. Ops. Studio 21 of 29. Google Chrome. Go. Excel. Malwarebytes. Dropbox 2. Safely remove our Bluetooth device. Windows security. No actions.
Oh, right here.
Context. View security. View notification. Check for protection. Run quick scan. View security. View notif. Check for protection. Update C. View notification. Option C. Speech mode off.
Yes, it is Molitvan. I'm actually doing a music stream next week where I'll cover Ableton and a couple of other things. Ableton Live 12 is quite accessible. Not everything is something you can do, but for loops and stuff, yeah, absolutely. Of course, there is no way to easily turn off Windows. You know, like everything else, you can just like right-click it and close it. But no, we cannot have that. Is there like a PowerShell command that can quickly run for that? Let me Google that. I mean, okay, I'm being a little silly about this, but I do understand. Basically, what they're trying to prevent is someone just like rubber duckying an really easy way to kill Windows Defender, or a virus right-clicking it, the icon and just killing it. And there is something to be said for that, but this is also really annoying. I just want it gone for a bit. Let's see. Disable Windows security for a while. Yeah, so Ableton Live 12 came out back in January, I think, and that was the version that made it a lot more accessible. And then 12.1 came out a couple months later, which fixed a bunch of crap that wasn't fixed in 12, and they're still working on it even now. So in that sense, it's not 100% accessible, but it's perfectly doable for a lot of things already. It's great for like loop-based music. Like if that's the thing you want to do, Ableton's great. I know there is like ways to do podcasts and things as well. I'm not sure how accessible that would be because it's a lot more automation and things like that where you have to work with like bits of audio and you want to do certain things with it. That might be easier in Reaper still, but for just loop-based music stuff, sure, you can do that. Tap on start button, type Windows security. I don't think you get to use it at all without paying, but there might be like a month trial. I don't remember. Go to virus and threat protection section and then click on manage settings. Oh, in there. Okay, Windows security. Let's turn that fucker off. Virus and check protection. Yep. All right. Scan options, allow threat, protection history, manage settings. Here it is. Let's see. Dev drive protection, real-time protection off. Yep, I'm sure. Dev drive protection. No idea what that does. Device drive, I guess. Anything else? Cloud deliver protection. Get out. Automatic sample submission. Out. Tamper protection. Away with you. Yeah, no, for that it's fantastic. If you've played with Ableton Note at all on the iPhone, that is also accessible. And there is this Groovebox, the Ableton Move, which honestly is very underwhelming to a lot of sighted reviewers. And it only has 4 tracks that you can work with, but you can work around that with some things. Andre Louis did like a... This is how it works. It has a screen reader. You just need to turn it on. It's not currently something you can turn on by yourself because it works over the network. You need to like a web interface to make it work, and you need to connect it to the network first for that to work. So it's, yeah. That bit you might need some help with. But once it's started, I haven't played with this myself. I'm considering getting it maybe just for the stream and just to fuck around with. But from there on, it apparently is quite fun. It's essentially that app in a box with actual tactile buttons, and I think you can use it as a MIDI controller, so that's cool. But yeah, Ableton Live is accessible. Ableton Move is that in Groovebox, kind of like Machine, but self-contained. Okay, all the virus things are off. Let's go back to here. Oh, fuck. Let's install this Jedi killer.
Speech cloning resources git repository bullet 0.0% 0/100.0 counting git objects 2.1 1.9 61.
I'll do us all a favor and shut that up. There we go. I'll keep an eye on it with Brill. Oh dear. Oh no, I thought that was minutes, but it's megabytes. Okay, I thought it was like 84 minutes. I'm like, no. We're downloading Git submodules. We're downloading more Git submodules. We're downloading a whole fuck ton of Git submodules. But yeah, next week I want to see if I can get like a music thing going with Ableton. I'll hook up like a vocal processor to have some fun with that. Maybe we'll make a couple of dumb jingles or something. We'll see. Select an image by its name. Nightly. Okay, what do we got?
Speed star, you can use a name that does not already exist to build a new image from local sources. Plus. Symbol full symbol 61.0 GB symbol not installed.
Okay, so there's full
symbol at symbol 44.8 GB symbol not installed symbol.
There's AD, which I'm assuming stands for Active Directory.
Symbol light symbol
there is
17.7 GB symbol not installed symbol. Symbol OSINT symbol 15.8 GB symbol web symbol 28
web,
symbol nightly symbol 60
nightly.
plus symbol image.
I would grab the full one.
Speech mode off.
But one is 64 gigabytes. Fuck. Let's do... Damn it. Okay, light is still 17 gigabytes.
Speed symbol OSINT symbol light symbol 17.7 GB symbol not installed symbol.
And I think a lot of the...
Symbol at symbol 44.8 GB symbol not installed symbol. Symbol full symbol 61.0 GB symbol.
Oh, fuck it. We'll do full. I'll talk until it's
Star
done
installing
downloading.
Exegol image. Full. Star pulling compressed image. Start speech mode off.
This will take a minute. That's fine. But yeah, like I said, next week it's gonna be musics. I'll see if I can make. It's gonna be interesting to make that streamable because I'm gonna have to make sure that I can hear it in real time, and then it may lag on stream. It's gonna be an interesting situation with the whole ACO Windows situation. But we'll see what we can do. And yeah, like maybe a Xerxes theme song, maybe some silly jingles, maybe just some playing around with Ableton, see how far we can get with their built-in tutorials, because they do have those. Normally, I would say just use what's there. Like documentation-wise, you don't necessarily need a blind-specific thing. I think in this particular case, having some more like screen reader-specific things would be nice, because obviously DAW is very mouse centric. And while they have a fuck ton of keyboard shortcuts, it can be a little overwhelming to figure out, okay, this is how you do it. And there's like 5 different things you need to find alternatives for. And then you might not even know if that particular thing you're trying to do is accessible or not. So that is a bit much. There is a liveaccessibility.com, which is like a very slowly in progress situation website where you can learn how to do the basic things. And there's a couple like MP3 recordings of people using it kicking around, but it's not great. You're better off just learning from official resources at this point, I think. Yeah, we'll play with that. Like I said, maybe I'll grab the Groovebox. Maybe even if it's just so I have something to do MIDI input with on my desk, because my keyboard is all the way over there on the other side of the room. You won't be able to see me anymore visually, and I'll have to walk back and forth past my computer and back every time I want to like tap a key. That might honestly not be ideal, so we'll have to see how that does. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, we'll do some music stuff. That'd be fun. I've been meaning to do that for a while now. I just keep not doing it because it's so much setting up. Got to make sure ACO drivers work. I think this Go XLR even has ACO drivers, but I don't think it'll like not sure how that will work with like streaming and also like doing audio processing. It'll be here. This RCX is really just gaming, honestly, and this is like hacking, coding, and tech in general. So I'd say this is a better fit. Funnily enough, I'm actually also streaming to TikTok right now, I'm pretty sure. Unless that broke. Restream has an integration to TikTok, which I just turned off for shits and giggles. Turned on. So this is going to TikTok. Hi, TikTok. If you're chatting, I can't see it because I don't have chat like going to that stream. So if you're talking there, please come like look at me on YouTube or Twitch. But that music thing might actually be really fun to do on TikTok, and I clip the fuck out of, so you can like blind person does dumb thing in music program. But yeah, we'll have to see how all that goes. Right now we're just watching a download progress. It's a Docker download, so it's really just downloading and then a hexadecimal number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 digit like hexadecimal number, it looks like. And it's just downloading a bunch of shit now. But yeah, music next week. This week I want to do like Exegol, see how that goes. I already went into this a little bit, but this does allow you to run GUI applications from the Linux side on Windows. So it'll have your Bloodhound, it'll have your Burp, it'll have your Empire. I think Empire might be command line based, actually, now think about it. But it'll have your Burp Suite, your Bloodhound, your Wireshark. While you can get Orca to work on WSLG, I have managed it once, and I couldn't replicate it when I tried again a year later, but it's doable. Once you have that installed, it will talk at you, and I've done that for example, Cherry Tree, because I like that app, although Joplin, which I'm also going to cover here at some point, I think is in a state right now where you can actually have a cross-platform note-taking application that's actually good. Like we had Dendron on VS Code, but that didn't really sync to anything, and it got abandoned, unfortunately. So we do have Joplin now, which is becoming accessible. It's already quite good, and they're still working on it, so that's really cool. I've been meaning for find a cross-platform note-taking thing, and this is a good one, I think. But yeah, how'd I get to Joplin? Oh yeah, Cherry Tree would work, and I did get it to work, but it was pretty crackly audio-wise. It was kind of laggy because they use like an RDP channel for sending the audio through, at least when I last checked this. And it just outright doesn't work so well. So you could use Burp from the Exegol side. You could use Bloodhound from the Exegol side. Except I really recommend you don't do that and just get your Windows equivalents if they exist. Burp has a Java version on Windows. Can't remember what Bloodhound's interface is. I think that's a web app, but I could be wrong. Anyway, you want to use the Windows version if you can, and I know that's not a popular choice among like the industrial gatekeepers of yore, but that's really all we have here. Yeah, I don't know. Linux in a VM, I think if you have Ubuntu or Debian or like one of the mainstream ones, you should be fine. I'm not sure what Fedora's up to these days. I know they had a whole stink half a year ago about the fact that they've not had a working Orca for like 8 years. That's honestly why I don't bother with GUI Linux. It's like if it works, it might just fall over again in a few months, and I'm just not masochistic enough to like hang my hat on a branch that is that brittle, if that makes sense. But sure, like it might be good now. It may also be good next month. It may not be good anymore in a month after. And to be fair, that is also somewhat true for Windows these days. I'm not loving all the new changes I've been seeing as of late, but so far the rug hasn't been pulled from under me yet, so I'm sticking where I am. I have a Mac computer if I need to switch. But yeah, like I said, if you can use the Windows equivalent, sometimes that's not an option. If you do want to use Cherry Tree, like I was doing, you don't have an accessible Windows version of that, except that's not entirely true either, because the Wayland stuff that's happening in Linux land, I see that apparently you can now compile GTK apps, which is Cherry Tree is one of those. You can compile them in such a way Oh, the installers fixed them, Fedora? That's good. That's good. Yeah, Orca. I think I ran into that problem now you mention it. Like when I was on Ubuntu, I wanted to get like the latest Orca and I couldn't because I didn't have the desktop environment version that worked with it. So it was like a whole entire like go down the line and you're still not getting anywhere situation. But yeah, Debian might be better, honestly, or maybe I mean, if you really want to go full commando, you can do Arch, but I cannot in good conscience recommend that unless you have a lot of time on your hands. Nix is pretty cool too. I like Nix in the sense that you can literally just write a file and it makes an OS out of the file. No idea how accessible / how stable that is these days. But Nix is a really cool concept because like a declarative OS. I'm pretty sure you can make that talk. I have not tried since like 2016, so don't take my word for it. But Nix is a cool concept. But yeah, we're now extracting things where we've downloaded everything apparently, or at least we're stopped downloaded for now. Yeah, I don't know. Arch. There was this thing. What was it called? Sonar. Based on Manjaro, which is in turn based on Arch. It's like Arch but easy mode, and that was a thing for a while. I think the only mature blind specific distro these days is Slint, and that's Slackware based. And I have honestly not been brave enough to fuck with it yet, because it's such a different package manager, and I don't have the time to devote that much time to it. Nix is too, to be fair, but Nix is cool. But yeah, we're still watching downloads progress. I have to fill the time somehow. Should play this Rusjak's theme song here. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing. On Windows, you can get burp. It's not a great experience, but it does kind of work. I've done it for a couple of these Advent of Cyber videos. I tried it off screen, and it worked. It's just a lot of you need to know all the hotkeys because that's the only sane way to navigate. You need to do a lot of assuming because you don't always get told where you are and what you're looking at. So you have to look really closely at what your payloads are doing and then just sort of change them as you need them. That worked fine, for example, for me when I did like a repeated HTTP attack, but I had a lot of trouble with WebSockets because WebSockets do this thing where I think you need to get like in there on the first message back and forth, and if you're too late, then it just doesn't work anymore. Yes, Molly Van Arch does have that option. So does Kali, and Kali's installation works great. You can install the entire OS, and there's no problem whatsoever. And then when you log into the system, at least in 2024.2, when I tried it last year, Orca starts stuttering crazily. I have no idea why. It's like either a Pipewire or a Wayland thing, but it just stutters to hell and back, and I have no clue why that happens. I put a bug in, no idea if it got fixed ever, but love to give it another look. And that's what I mean, though. It was fine in 2024.1, and then in 2024.2 they did something, didn't test it, broke it again, and I'm just like, yeah. If that's what my computer is going to do now, to that the debilitating degree, I don't think I want to use that on my computer. It was good. It was great on 2024.1, and then 2024.2 came around and I just stuttered like a motherfucker. I don't know what happened. They updated something and then it just fell right over. Don't know. Also, I did not know XFCE was good. I thought that was broken. So I've learned something today. Oh, it's done. Shit.
Plus status. Downloaded newer image from /exegol : plus image successfully installed.
Image successfully installed. Okay, so we're done with the downloading of the image. Just talking. I didn't even realize it was done. Okay. So let's close this tab. See what else we need to do. What is this? This is a Windows WSL thing. Where's the... Oh, here. Okay. So what's the next thing we need to do? Optional, using Exegol auto-completion. Do we want that? I don't think so. Exegol wrappers supports auto-completion in many shell environments, but there is a
Molly
configuration.
Fan just redeemed Tangia. Ask AI GLaDOS a question, TTS.
That should
saying,
still work.
What are the lyrics to Still Alive from Portal?
That should work. I have that running.
Asked me, what are the
fuck, it's
lyrics
working.
to Still Alive from Portal? Ah, Still Alive. A lovely little tune, isn't it? Sadly, I don't have the rights to share the full lyrics with you, but I can tell you, it's about science, survival, and a pinch of that dark humor everyone seems to love. Quite fitting, really. It's a triumph, I'm told. Maybe you should give it a listen and enjoy the delightful melody.
This was a triumph. Very good. I'm honestly I keep getting emails from Tenja like, hey, why did you stop using Tenja? I'm like, I didn't. I just didn't get anyone using it. It's there. People can use it. And I was honestly halfway expecting that not to work because like the token had run out or something. But hey, there you go. It worked. To add on the host for this feature to work, blah, 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 blah. Important. The following configurations must be made in your host environment. Yeah, you just set that. Tip. If the command register python arg complete is not found on your host, you have to install it. Okay. I don't think I'm going to bother with this right now. We'll do this another time. We're just going to continue the next step for now. There is no next step.
Speed pips installer complete graphic tab selected bash tab ZS you can auto come tab to set if sudo app
so what?
If you have bash greater
separator. Is there like a
content info landmark
how to
copyright
use it
copyright
situation
footer navigation
thing?
landmark
Yeah, there's a next.
key previous.
Okay, let's go to the next page and see where it takes us.
Clickable main landmark.
Troubleshooting. I mean, it works so far. Do we just Exegol start? Maybe Exegol start.
Star Exegol is currently in version v4.3.9. Star Exegol Discord serve.http.
Okay, select an image by its name. We only have full, so we'll do full. Go!
Host network mode for Docker desktop, Windows and Mac OS is not a...
Okay, it says enter the name for your new Exegol container. Default is the default.
Start a share host network. Select an if star. You can use a name plus symbol at symbol 44 point symbol light symbol 17.7 GB.
Okay, there's a couple of things it's saying. Let me have the computer read this because this might actually be important.
Star. You can use a name that does not already exist to build a new image from local sources. Select host network mode for Docker desktop, Windows and Mac OS is not available. Start a share network ports between the host and Exegol. Use a port parameter. Enter the name of your new Exegol container. Default star host network.
Okay. Host network mode for Docker desktop, Windows and macOS is not available. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. I'm not a Docker expert. I honestly am not. So it really tip here would be to indicate what I'm supposed to do about it.
Star enter bottom.
But for now, let's just make a container. Let's do it.
Star container summary plus.
Okay.
Plus symbol
So what's the summary?
Symbol image symbol full v dot symbol plus star container plus symbol name symbol default symbol
name default
symbol image symbol full v
image
dot 3 point plus symbol credential symbol root WLLC OT BPM XHEI
root. That looks like a thing I should probably copy down somewhere.
Root space W start bar L S Y C O T O C Z C B E A E L D J 0 O X 4 space.
That's an awfully long password.
Copy to click speech mode off.
let me put that in a little note. Can't do it in Notepad. Notepad++, please. Because if I open Notepad right now, Windows has it so when you do that, you open the entire flush the sewers down situation and in like one thing. It's kind of cool, but not in this kind of situation. Anything else we need to do here?
Speed plus symbol workspace symbol dedicated slash workspace symbol
No idea what that does.
symbol privilege symbol off check symbol
Privilege is off.
symbol shell logging symbol off X symbol
Shell logging is off. You can turn that on. You can actually have it like odd. Like just copy all the shell output if you want. Look at your sessions again. Get notes from it afterwards. It's kind of cool.
symbol my resources symbol on check slash op slash my resources symbol symbol Exegol resources symbol on check slash op slash resources symbol symbol time zone symbol on check symbol symbol network symbol bridge symbol
Okay, so we have a bridge network. No idea what that's going to cause.
symbol console B symbol on check X11 symbol
Console GUI on. Uh-oh.
symbol remote desktop symbol off X symbol symbol credential symbol root WLLC
So you can see a couple things that this lets you do. You can get credentials just for a remote desktop. That is a web page, if I'm not mistaken. So you can get like the try hack me like machine in a browser situation. I should probably turn X11 sharing and XLR console off. Let me actually go see how that would be done.
starting interactive configuration. Do you want to share your current host working directory in the new containers workspace y/n? Do you want to disable X11 i.e apps y/n?
Do you want to disable GUI apps? Yes, I do.
Do you want to enable desktop y/n?
No, I don't.
Do you want to remove your shared time zone config y/n?
No, that's okay.
Do you want to disable my resources y/n?
No, that's fine.
Do you want to disable the Exegol resources y/n?
No, that's okay.
Do you want to share the host networks y/n?
Yes, I do.
Host network mode for Docker desktop, Windows and Mac OS is not available. Start to share network ports between the host and Exegol. Use the port parameter. Do you want to enable automatic shell logging y/n?
No, I don't.
Do you want to enable a VPN for this container y/n?
Not right now.
Star container summary plus symbol.
Yeah, sure, go do it.
Star command line of the configuration. Exegol start default full CWD.
All right,
Disable
there it
speed
goes.
mode
It's
off.
starting up. It says start up installing my resources. So a couple things we saw here. So it asks us if you wanted to do a VPN. You can do that. You can give it, for example, if you're doing try hack me stuff, you could do a just give it an OVPN file that you can download off your profile, like an open VPN file, and it'll happily put itself in the VPN with your Windows machine, so that way you can have your cake and eat it too, basically. The cool thing about that is that you have all your tools. Like right now, I probably have John, I have Metasploit, I have all the things. I could literally just
speech mode talk.
do MSF console, and it should just open Metasploit for us. We have root access to this container, very similar to the attack
Metasploit
box.
tip. View a
Yeah,
module's
there it goes.
description. Speed
Metasploit's
mode
loading.
off.
So at this point, you have an attack system, attack platform that you can use for try hack me challenges or for white hat or even black hat situations. You could use it for. Don't do black hat, you'll get thrown in jail. It's not a fun place, I'm told, but you could do that now. And the cool thing is that it looks like you do have shared resources, so you could probably share a folder directly to the Windows host. So if you have like a report that comes out of one tool, you can look at that and say VS Code on the Windows host. That is a bit more setup, I think. We did notice that weird mention of what was it? The host network mode is not available. I'm guessing there's a Docker setting you have to turn on for that, because that is Docker works like a sort of like a mini VM on Windows. It doesn't on Linux, but it does on Windows. So just like a VM in VMware or the other one, VirtualBox, you need to tell it what network mode to use. Looks like right now it's an implicit bridged because we don't have the other ones. I'm assuming you need either a driver or like you need to restart your computer, or you need to turn on some kind of switch to have those other things available. I'm not really sure how that would work. It is pretty fast. We are in MSF 7 right now.
Speech. Metasploit documentation. Plus equals 9 evasion. Plus equals 1468 payloads. Dash 4 plus equals W star. WW.
Okay,
Star
we have
OMSF.
ASCII art. I'm seeing if there's like that warning that we always get from the attack box that MSF console is out of date.
Slash. Version exploit tip. View a module's description using info or the enhanced version in your browser with info D.
Oh, fancy.
Jan 20 plus opening shell in Exegol default. Star location of the Exegol workspace on the host. / Jan 28, 2025.
So yeah, basically it neatly
55.
put us in a shell that is now, for all intents and purposes, our Linux box that we do attack things from. Basically, this Docker container is a Linux, I guess like a Linux small or something that has all the tools that you want. And now you no longer have to use the try hack me attack box if you don't want to. You can just use your own Docker situation.
Speech mode off.
Obviously, it may not have all the tools that you would want for that. There may be like holes. It'll probably have the most important ones. It'll have your Metasploit. It'll have your FUF, your fuzz, your WFuzz. You'll have your Durbuster. It'll have your AD tools like probably has Interceptor and various other things like that. Responder is probably in there for like stuff. There will be things like Aircrack, I'm pretty sure. Not sure how performant that would be, but you could use it. Yeah, there's a tools list that you can check out on GitHub. It has like the entire list of what it puts in there. Now, again, we turned GUIs off, so there's not going to be any GUI tools that we can use. That is actually probably the best, and you might want to make like a customized image that just doesn't do all the GUI apps because you probably don't want to use them in there anyway. Does mean that obviously you do have to install those on the host system. But yeah, that is Exegol. Basically, does this make it more accessible? It might, honestly. Like, you don't have to deal with the attack box on Try Hack Me. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the most tricky bit of Try Hack Me, but it can throw some people off. So let's say that this is good. It's not gonna solve the issues that Try Hack Me has with accessibility, because most of those issues have to do with very specific things within their machines that you have to use their machines for, or they require you to use GUI apps from the attack box, which sometimes you can just substitute your own machine for. Actually, most of the time you can do that. Like if it's say, go to your attack box's browser and browse to XYZ thing that's in the VPN. You can just do that with your host machine as well. That doesn't matter. What you cannot do is if it's like something that's actually within a VM itself, like this VM has all the tools you want, go nuts with it, and we don't give you SSH. That's when it gets annoying, at which point you have to either sneak in SSH, which I've done that a few times on the advent of cyber. Basically what you do is you make sure you check if sudo is still available to you. A lot of the times it is. You do that, you go your systemctl start SSH, you go back to your normal user, stick your public key from your host machine into their authorized keys file. You'll need to use OCR for this. Maybe just like use nano to get to the bottom of the thing, put it in there, like save it, and then try to connect over SSH. If you do that, you have access. And you could do that from either the attack box on Try Hack Me or just your Docker thing that we just did. Do keep in mind that if you want to do that, you might want to make sure you give it that VPN flag with the right OVPN that you're also using for your host's VPN, because otherwise you'll not be able to reach the Try Hack Me virtual private network. But once you've done all that, you should be golden with just using this tool set for like most challenges, I'd say. So it is cool in that sense. You don't have to build a whole entire VM. Now, is building a whole entire VM more difficult? Honestly, that depends on your skill set. Like I said, Kali Linux screwed the pooch and essentially made sure that you cannot use it anymore in a proper GUI mode. So unless that got fixed, I'll have to check. I'll get back to that next week. I'll see if I can have some time to check that out, latest version. But if they fix that, then you're fine. You can just grab a VM, set it up. It has a speech assisted install, so Just give it what it needs, and then you have essentially the same thing as here, although I do notice that sometimes
What is that, video game?
I still have to download a whole shit ton of tools before I can use them. Hey, follower. What is your name?
Speech mode.
Hang on,
Speech
let
mode.
me
Speech mode off.
flip over to Firebot here. Thank you for the follow, DVK Kone. Kone? As in machine? Finish? Tervetuloa? Anyway, that's basically it. You can use this for TryHack Me, you can use this for TryHack the Box Academy. You cannot use this for OffSec because they want you to use Kali, and you cannot have more than one VPN connection at the same time. You can use this for pretty much all the other ones that I know of. Pretty sure. Dakkone. Okay. Yeah, my Finnish foo. That sounds very Finnish to me. I might be wrong, but that sounds Finnish to me. I don't know what it means though. My Finnish is severely beneath the mark. But yeah, you can use this for most things. I think you can even use this for things like the PNTP, the thing that Cybermentor does. I'm relatively sure this would also work for something like TCM, the Cybermentor stuff. Wait, I'm saying the same thing twice. Sorry, I mean TCM and ZTM. TCM is the Cybermentor, ZTM is Zero to Mastery. They have some hacking things as well. That's all video based, but you should still be able to follow along like with most things. Although I do think that they use a lot of like offline virtual machines to mess with stuff when you're not doing like web stuff. So in that sense, that may be harder if you don't have your network stuff situation figured out. So that is something you'd have to figure out as you go. Like, and again, that may also be why you run this on Linux. Even on Mac, this doesn't work out of the box from what I saw. They really want you to use Linux. And that mirrors my own experience. When I did like a brief gig at a startup a couple of years ago, it was like a Python Django backend that they also ran in a Docker environment, and that worked fine. But it was dog slow on anything but Linux. Like Mac and Windows, dog slow. And then Linux is like 10 times as fast. So that can make a serious difference. At the time, this was also right after the M1 Mac came out. So Docker on M1 was really bad. I think it's better now, but it was really bad then. I didn't work for there for very long for one number of reasons, but that was one of them. Like every time I had to run unit tests, it took like 10 minutes to run them all, whereas like on Linux was like 1 minute. It was seriously not good. But yeah, on this, it does want you to use Linux. We, for whatever reasons, I've already mentioned that we don't necessarily may want to do that. We want to stick within Windows. So in this sense, you can either like sort of Matroshka doll this and put like the Docker stuff within a VM within your Windows host. Or you can just deal with it and then, you know, deal with the Windows limitations and still have it work just fine. We got our bot. We got a bot from Arif42 Emin. Very cool. We're going to ban you, my friend. Goodbye. I said goodbye. Please provide a username. I tried. I don't think that worked. Let's try this again. There you go. Says I banned him. Think it worked. Super cool. Anyway. Yeah, that's really all I had for this. We have Metasploit. We have a cool tool here. We've been going for about 1.5 hours. I might honestly call it here, guys. Yeah, that's Exegol. Exegol... Does it make a difference for blind hackers? I think in a sense, yes. Particularly in some... I think Hack the Box Academy might not have a great way to get yourself into the attack box. I think it wants you to use your own stuff. So this is really good for that. Try Hack Me has their attack box that you have SSH access to, at least if you pay. I forget how that works if you don't pay. There is some limitations there. I think you only get to use it for like 2 hours or something weird like that. So in that sense, having your own set of tools is preferable. Preferable. Honestly, those both works phonetically, but preferable is the way people say it. Anyway, and then for video things, it might be a bit trickier because everything is running in your own home lab at that point. So depending on how you set up your home lab, you might need to do some network jury rigging to get that to work. But if you do make that work, you should be good there too. So yeah, this is a pretty cool game changer for people who don't want to set up a VM or can't for whatever reason. What it's also good for is if you have WSL2 set up, Windows has this thing where it doesn't necessarily super love you using other types of VMs. So there is this thing where if you want like the most performance out of your virtual machines, you're going to have to turn the Windows virtual like hypervisor off and reboot your computer, and then you have the regular, for example, VMware hypervisor that can actually do this a lot faster. And that is, you have to do that every time you switch from VM to WSL2. There is ways around that. Honestly, in my experience, it didn't work super well. So if I can stick within WSL2 and then also have like a Dockerized situation where I can just have my tools without having to have a VM, then I personally like that better. But that's a personal subjective thing. But yeah, that's Exegol. Accessibility wise, not really that much to say. It's mostly command line stuff. There is GUI stuff. Like there are GUI applications on there. It's like I said, Bloodhound, Burp Suite. I'm pretty sure it might have actually given you like an X11 based console, which I don't think would have been accessible. But that I don't know. That I'd have to test that. Orca can be made to work on WSLG. I don't know exactly how that works, because it's supposed to just work out of the box, and that did not happen for me when I last tried this a couple months ago. So be aware of that. You may probably not want to do GUI, but you can try it. If it doesn't work, you can always just turn it off. And yeah, that really is the long and short of it. Exegol does what Exegol does, and it can really help with things like, like I said, try hack me, engagements, just not some of the exams, because again, they'll want you to use their own tools, or they will not let you have more than one connection, which you're going to want if you're going to also have to use GUI tools, in particular Burp Suite, Zap Proxy, Kaido, things like that. You're going to want to make sure that you have those on Windows, because that's just not fun on Windows to begin with, but it'd be a massive pain in the neck on GUI Linux, but even in a VM, let alone in like a slow ass laggy RDP based audio connection to like the WSLG. So I would recommend just sticking with Windows GUI apps for now. Hopefully that changes in the future, so we don't have to do this much fiddling just to get an environment going. But that is the situation we have right now. Hello, we have a person coming in from the YouTube side. What's your name, friend? Akio. Hello, Akio. I remember you. You were asking me about stuff the other time. You always come in when I'm about to leave. It's really impressive. But yeah, we did Exegol today. Exegol. It's like a Docker-based hacking environment. You asked me about Try Hack Me. How's that been going for you? Have you tried it again? Like, did you get anywhere with it? I remember you having some trouble with the machines, the online machines, and that they didn't give you a proper way to SSH in. That is still a problem, unfortunately. I did talk to a person at Try Hack Me, and he said he was going to look into it. I honestly haven't heard from him since, so okay, I'm very double where that's concerned. On the one hand, this person does know his stuff. He's been doing this kind of stuff for quite some time, so I do respect his skills, but I've also been ghosted by Try Hack Me just a couple times too often to not start wondering if he's getting like signals from the chain saying, okay, don't engage, don't do anything with this because we don't have the priorities or whatever. And then combining that with all the stuff that's happening in the US right now, I don't know what's going on with the feedback I've given them so far. But yeah, we'll have to see if it gets fixed. If not, well, sucks. Again, though, that's pretty much all I had. So I'm going to nix the screen for now because I want to be able to go find the raid target without you lot getting into all of my stuff here. So bye screen. Let me see what I can find here, Twitch-wise. Oh, it's better. I'm glad to hear that, Akio. I'm glad that you got further with it. Appreciate the follow, Dakone. Appreciate that. You learn many things. That is excellent. I love it when people learn many things. I'm learning things too every week. It's really fun. Like, learning things is something. This is a spice of life in some respects. Oh, I don't get emails from TikTok, but I'm apparently also live on TikTok. Well, that's fun. Is anyone like on the hacker side doing anything right now? Let's go infosecstreams.com. So yeah, while I do this, like I said, next week is going to be a music making stream. We're going to look into Ableton. We're going to look into Ableton Live and Move, probably. We're also going to maybe do some Reaper, depending on what we're doing. Some Goldwave. I love the out of Goldwave, seriously. For like, if you don't do like multi-track stuff, and you just want to slice and dice audio together, Goldwave is a godsend. Sorry, it beats Reaper like out of the sky. We're in like in the sense of like ease of use and just getting shit together really quickly. Sure, the effects may not be as good. You can use VSTs with it, but it works so well. It has hotkeys. It talks just the right amount of talking. You don't have to do any like extraneous things if you don't want to. It's really nice for just like, for example, editing a podcast episode or sticking some kind of audio prediction together that it doesn't really need different you can just add all the things together. There's like paste and mix. There is like paste at beginning, paste at end. There's hotkeys for all that stuff. And you can like set the volume relative to the thing you're already pasting against when you do mixing it. It's really nice to play with. Akio, your question. Yes, that'll happen sometimes. That's where the game begins. Sometimes you get remote desktop Windows boxes. Those are honestly not very doable at the moment because you don't have audio on the remote end. So you could connect to the RDP session and then enable narrator. That would be easy enough to do. You can just go Windows R and type narrator and press enter just to control Windows enter on the remote end, and it'll happily turn on narrator for you, but you won't be able to hear it. At which point, essentially end of the road. You can't do that with Ticket a Room. If it's a Linux machine, you might get lucky and you might be able to grab SSH somehow. Like sometimes the sudo counter is still going, so you can turn it on a systemctl. If that doesn't work, again, end of the line pretty much. At that point, I'd recommend start looking at a write-up or something to see what you should be doing. Like that you might have to self-test. Like, would I have figured this out if I were to be playing in the actual machine? And yeah, just fill in the questions. It's not the best way to do it, but it's the only way to do it, unfortunately, because, well, TryHackMe is not trying, so that sucks. I see that KiraSec is... TryHackMe with WSL, that should just work. If you go to WSL and just do an SSH from there and you're... Oh, fuck. Maybe not, actually. There might be something weird going on with WSL not liking your VPN. No, there's no audio on the remote TryHackMe boxes. There is not. They have not turned that on. I've asked them for years, but they're not listening to me yet. Hopefully it'll fix itself out. KiraSec's no longer there. That's a shame. What was I saying? Yeah, SSH generally works. I'm not sure why your WSL wouldn't see the Try Hack Me box. Pretty sure if you do, if you turn on the VPN on the host side and then go into WSL, that should just work. But I have seen it misbehave, so there might be something weird going on there. I'm not super sure how to help you with that. Let me see if I can find people that are actually online. That would be nice. Anyone else here? Fixit. Oh, Fixit's there. What's Fixit doing? Let's see. Is Fixit there? Am I not miss looking again? Fixit. Can we bother Fixit? Can Fixit fix it? Fixit's playing with, or at least it was playing with Total Commander. Don't think they're currently on. No, I can't really find anyone. Does anyone have a person I should go raid? Because I can't find anyone. Wait, are they on? No, they're not. They just left. Okay, that sucks. Who do we bother? Let's have another look at my email. Maybe there's like, is Kamari there? That might be an option. Let me turn my speech on so I can go a little faster. There we go. But yeah, that's been exciting. I hope this was helpful for some people. I like people find this in the future. You know, drop me a line. I'm always like to hear that what I did was helpful for someone. Yeah. Well, they were live a while ago. Let's see if they're still there. Tamari Sky or Tamari Skies? Sky. I'm dropping all these names. You people better like freaking raid me in the future. I'm dropping all you guys' names in my stream here. No, they're also gone. Okay, guys, I have no idea who to raid, honestly, so I think I'm just gonna leave it here at this point. I'm very sorry for how many people are even watching at this point. I can only see the Twitch ones, and that's just 2 of you. Okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna have to call it, you guys. This was a lot of fun. This was fun to explore. You're here, yeah, and John is too, and then Akio on the YouTube side. But yeah, this was super fun. I hope this was educational. I hope you know, me dealing with all this stuff was something that people can learn from. Next week, musics. I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna do all that. It's gonna be a bit of a change of venue for me, but we'll see what we can make it work. It's gonna be a reason for me to clean up my desk finally, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we'll see that next time. We are rejoining you as Xerxes tomorrow with Diablo 4. And there will probably be more God of War on Saturday if I manage to do that gorilla thing. Otherwise, we'll have to do something else. We'll have to see. But yeah, this has been I See Null. Very fun. Hope you guys had a good time. I had a good time. I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.